Well, our understanding is that he did get briefed. He said in that statement that he had been getting some information about what had been going on in London. Not clear exactly what he's been told as of right now. But, Kelly, you just saw in that tape an example of what White Houses have to deal with all the time, which is handling multiple different high-interest, high-impact items of news at the same time. The president here is holding a meeting dealing with health care. He's got a number of conservatives coming in to meet with him here shortly to talk about their votes on this dramatic vote on his health care bill tomorrow. At the same time, he's got to get this briefing on what's going on in London and deal with our allies there, our military alliance, and figure out what's happened in London and whether there's any implications for the United States based on what's happened. And you guys just talked about the idea that the U.S. government took steps this week to impose a ban on certain electronic equipment being included on airplanes coming from about 10 different airports throughout the Middle East. That was an indication that U.S. intelligence saw something that they didn't like and felt they needed to step up their security posture. Not clear whether that has any relation to what's happened now in London, but we did see the UK follow suit with the United States after that ban was announced earlier this week. So clearly U.S. intelligence, British intelligence work very, very closely together, and we'll see what they can piece together about what's happened here and what might be next, if anything.
Eamon, you speak with security experts all the time. It strikes me that this sort of incident or attack is among the most low-tech, low coordination. We're talking about a vehicle here and a knife. From what we know thus far, no firearms necessarily involved in the alleged assailant, and no necessarily large group of people involved. What sort of reaction, political and otherwise, should we expect to this sort of an incident, which is different from some kind of coordinated attack involving a number of people, perhaps something that we might have picked up signals about from electronic communication?
Well, I think the political reaction is going to depend more on the details of what's happened here. As we learn those, you might see that the tenor of the reaction start to shift. But clearly, you make a good point, John, which is that this kind of an attack, if it just involved vehicles and knives and a couple of people, maybe one or two, as few as that, this is one of the hardest types of attacks for officials to prevent. It doesn't require a wide circle of people involved in planning. It doesn't require a lot of advanced logistics. It certainly doesn't require the movement of large amounts of money. All of those are things that intelligence agencies can spot in advance and take steps to intervene when they see them. In this case, this is simply outside of a security perimeter in an unsecured area in a major global city. That is very, very difficult to do anything at all to stop. The so-called lone wolf attacks are the ones that intelligence officials fear the most because they're the most difficult to isolate, predict, and do anything about. And in response, law enforcement and intelligence have to do exactly what you're seeing right here, which is immediately tend to the people who've been victimized by this, but also secure the area and figure out in real time what they're dealing with and who else might be involved, whether there's a second wave, whether this is a distraction from something else that might be planned, or whether this is the end of it right now. All of those things are things that they have to deal with in real time in what is apparently a very dangerous situation here in London.
Indeed, everything you're saying, Eamon, about soft targets, about the playbook that ISIS has given its followers, using an SUV to plow into pedestrians. I mean, we've seen it in Nice and some other high-profile cases. And we ask this question every time, but it does make you wonder to what degree either the U.S. or UK or other cities at risk have to fortify areas they never thought they'd have to fortify.
Well, you can't fortify everything, Carl. I mean, ultimately, we live in a free society. The people in London live in a free society. You have to have vehicles. You have to have movement. You have to have businesses be able to do business. At the end of the day, you know, you can move the security perimeter around, but there's always going to be some area that's outside the security perimeter, and you have to have that in order to have a free society. So there's only so much you can do to secure everything. And the answer to this, when you talk to the intelligence experts is aggressive intelligence, finding out where the people are who might be sympathetic to the ISIS call for attacks, finding those people, putting them under surveillance, and making sure that they don't have the opportunity to do something like this. But it's just very, very difficult. It's a very big world out there. There are a lot of people. There are a lot of leads. You can't follow everybody all the time. And you can't shut down traffic in the center of a major city. You can't stop people from buying knives. You can't monitor everybody who's walking on a sidewalk. All of those things would be impossible to do. So for law enforcement and intelligence, this puts them in a difficult position of playing defense. And what they tell you when they talk about this is they'd rather play offense. They would rather be conducting surveillance, going after people they think might have contacts with ISIS, and that sort of thing, Carl.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.